Guys, it is MetaTalk episode 19. It's Mr. Rudd up here, Logan Snyder, and my co-host, Herman the GOAT.
What's up, y'all?
Guys, we want to take this time in this episode to actually review Seance. Go through all the set. We were at a pre-release. I think it's the biggest pre-release I've ever been to. I think it was 42, 44 players in. We got a spell book, and we got a release deck in that one, right, Herman?
Yes, we did. Yeah, that was cool. It was supposed to be a theme deck originally, so we would know what we played, but with the release event edition, that made a whole lot of risk involved.
Yeah. Just, even before we even get to the set of Seance, tell me your experience. I know, where I got to at second, but that water deck with all the trap cards, it's busted. But the theme deck that you had, tell us what you played, what you saw out there, and just some possibilities from the theme decks.
Well, I got the Water Earth deck, and if you've been paying attention to Seance, if y'all have gotten a chance to read it, you will see that there is not much Water Earth combination cards in the set. I actually pulled pretty well for the majority of the set. I got that cursed card that'll change it to 70, change the effect text or spirit to change it 75.
I'm gonna pull up cards. I'm gonna pull up cards while you're talking.
Yeah, I got that. I got the
Talking about this one, right? The cursed.
The cursed contract. That's a great card, but you only have 30 minutes to build these decks, guys. So you can't really spend too much time trying to guesstimate what you want to play. You have to know beforehand. I didn't read a lot of the cards, and I didn't know what were in the release event deck combination. So once I saw what the combination was, I knew it was going to be a very tough matchup, even though I kind of liked the deck itself. So what it ended up doing was there's a card now that's called Karn that will, for every start of every turn, you get a Karn counter, and you'll be able to do either recover 10 damage from a target or deal 10 damage to a target beastie.
Cards can be a problem real fast, especially in a release event.
Exactly. There's not a lot of beasties that'll have enough attack to go through it unless you play a bad matchup. And then there are cards that will, it also has a built-in effect to whenever someone swings at it, they're going to take damage from it too. So it's kind of interesting. I like it, and I saw the problem that whenever it does go off and you get multiples. Now, I didn't even get to pull the card there's the beastie in this effect that's the giraffe possum. Whenever it swings, you get to increase all card countered by 1. So you can have a few of those start swinging. It's a 2-drop, and it'll add this up, but it wasn't. I didn't pull any of this card. It even has a trap trait that'll protect your Karn for a while. The tribal boost would have been great. It just didn't. I didn't get any of the cards that I needed. Yeah, this is a pretty busted card for being a 2-drop in the deck.
Do you see that? Do you see the playing possum?
Yeah, he'll get what's it called?
Immortal.
Immortal, that's what it is. Thank you. I keep looking at it and want to say infinity, but that's not what it is. So
I know they've changed the signs, and so we're just trying to play Pictionary here, with what we have, and then I finally looked them up.
Yeah, but the problem with the Immortal, that if they do get it into 0 LP, it does die at the end of whenever the effect is up. So it's cute. It would have been stupid if it was a burrowed beastie. There's no way that you get around. Yeah, exactly. It's a 2-drop. So they made the card to where it'll live and you'll be able to do what you want to do. But if you get multiples of these things, you can play 6 of this guy and it has tribal boost.
Yeah.
So there could be some stuff with Rock that doesn't have to do with the old stuff of Rock. You could play Karn and then start after turn 3, when you get 3 counters on it. You play the possum, get a couple possums going, start swinging with those things. You'll have this thing up to 100 LP and no problem, under 100 damage.
Yeah,
there are cards that had.
I was wondering what the limit was on this, because I was like, please be less than 4, or this could be a problem.
I mean, even at 3, it was still a problem, because I had the games that I won, I dropped 1 on turn 2, 1 on turn 5, 1 on turn 6. So literally all I could do, because I didn't pull anything for this deck, I didn't have time to and I didn't have enough of other stuff to push into this. I would basically have to build a whole new deck with what I had, and then there wasn't enough anything to pull out of 13 packs and with no base.
You got dampens in there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dampen don't do anything in this format. Like in the sealed event, dampen doesn't do anything unless you're playing against the All Hallows Eve dark stuff.
Let's talk about that deck.
By that time, you're already gonna lose. Like with this version, they're able to come at you and just hit some of this stuff.
So the other deck that I kind of figure out how to beat it, I'll leave it at that. I beat 2 of them, one to get in, and I beat one in top 8, the dark deck. Anything interesting that you saw out there, Herman, from other decks that you played?
The deck that you pulled was good. I thought it was good with the mermaid traps that force you to attack the traps, basically.
Guys,
and then the dark deck was busted.
This card right here is crazy. So the water deck that I got, it had like 17 beasties in it. I was like, all right, let's go. This is what I like. What's great about this is a searcher to go get a trap. You literally play this card, and I don't know if the other little one, it's a 1-drop. You can search your deck, but what's crazy, if you can actually attack into this beastie, and then it stops the battle damage. I wonder if it's in the set. I don't think the theme decks and the release decks are up yet.
It's a release event card. It's not in the main set.
Yeah, guys, if you know what I'm talking about, comment below. Guys, as always, I know me and Herman, we drop the ball on this sometimes. Guys, if you enjoy what we're doing, please like, comment, and subscribe to us so you are updated when our next episode comes out, guys. We're going to get into more card detail, going into Seance, and break down some cool, maybe some combos that we'll share with you guys. As always, we appreciate you.
You can't tell we don't really go put a lot of thought outside of just trying to share the information, like even promoting ourselves. Barely do that. I think it's minimal for what we just asked for y'all, but we like the engagement. That's why
we love it.
Have on.
Yeah, we love being able to answer questions, helping the meta grow, helping this card game grow, and we're full of knowledge. But at the end of the day, it is a card game, and there is variance. I learned that last night in a tournament.
Yeah, I personally don't like release events unless they are brand new, and some of them are just better than others. The prize support and stuff like that, but it's just fun to go and see some new people that you don't even play like the game itself. They just like the cards and they'll come into new stuff. I've always experienced that, especially with Yu-Gi-Oh! There'll be people that you'll see once every 3 months with these sets, and they'll just play the drops.
Yeah, they'll play, and some of them actually are good, and they're good release deck type of people. Are like the format, like in Yu-Gi-Oh! We had like I think 10 packs. We made decks out of the 10 packs to win more prizes. Battle of the Giants or something like that. Yeah, but I do like that Metazoo does these release decks so that we can have release deck tournaments. It does have some variance. I think if you can do these release deck tournaments, I think you should do 2 release deck tournament decks. I think that would be a better advantage, because sometimes those 3 packs, man, you just draw nasty. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna leave it at that with my verbiage.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a spellbook and 2 release event decks.
I think that's where it should go. I think it should be a release and a spellbook. I think that would be great. You got your packs, you got your aura, like solid, and you get to use the promo. Like, where else are you going to really use the promos, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, the Seance promo and the spellbook wasn't going to be useful for the release event, so you get to just keep that.
Yeah, and what's awesome about Seance and doing this, and I hope a lot of the partners keep doing this, is that those aura blocks have a hollow aura in them. Yeah, I mean, that's I'm so glad MetaZoo brought that back. I think we've been missing it. There's a lot of auras. Hint. I hope they go back to the make hollow. Mike,
I want the Nightfall water hollow.
Yes,
please.
Yes,
it looks so good.
Can we get Nightfall? Like, even a 2nd edition hollow aura. Listen, let's make up for the spell books from Nightfall. I think they would have sold out if there was hollow aura in them.
Oh, also I want to point out that when you do go to these release events, do not try to take the release event and then use this as a building block for your competitive decks. That is a whole nother frame of thought. some of these decks are fantastic only in this setting. Like this card right here is great until you play a lightning deck that is side decking properly. And that they're going to play Speed Demon. They're going to play Speed Demon.
And another thing to think about as well is that in these I call them side events to me, but this release event tournament, all fourth wall items are active. Like everything is active. So, you know, you don't really have a list. So it makes a big difference of these cards because you're really going to see how they're utilized the most. It's really interactive. I like it. I hope to see more of it with bigger prize support. It would be great. Hold on.
I think it would be a very interesting side event thing. Make it a $100 entry.
Yeah, even at MetaZoo events. I think if MetaZoo, I hope I hope Kevin, I hope Logan and Emilio, and even for Jir, it'd be great. There's things that me and Herman can give light on experience that we've done at Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, big YCSs that we used to go to. When we didn't make top 32, there were side events, and everyone would pay $10 to $20 to be in these side events. Could be constructed, could be sealed. It was a lot of fun, and people won packs, people won promos. You know, it was really interactive, and I think it made for a whole show for everyone else that they want to drop and they want to do other stuff, but they still want to play. I brought a lot of light to the game on the side events.
And it also gives it an extra dimension. I played in side events that would be you only can use super rares, which is only foiled, or silver rares. Only the name is shiny, and people would make decks based on that, and that would put another dimension on it because it would take away some of your card pool, and then you'd have to really be interested in the game to try to play around with it. But there's stuff that we could get expanded on, like two-person team, actual like commander style, like Magic does, where the game seems to kind of be built for.
Yeah.
And they would always start at like 2 or 3 hours after the event starts, so that way no one would be upset if they didn't get to play, and there'd be something cool that you could win on the side, like the giant cards.
Yeah, and I think, if they had giant cards, that'd be awesome. And I think that's something that it could be in the works. But if they had like 10-man pods, you only need a judge to be able to go you can run 2 pods, right? And have a judge that goes back and forth to those 2 pods. It's not that complex.
Yeah.
Oh, 8-man pods, excuse me. And then it's pretty much single elimination. So you don't have to, or you play best out of 2 out of 3, excuse me. And then it's after that, you're eliminated. There is no Swiss. So you're going to move pods faster and faster that way.
You could even go down to a 1-man single elimination, run 32s if you need to think about the time. Like some of these games, you're not going to have a real side deck anyway for like the sealed event stuff that you're going to do. But they could have stuff like that really easily, I believe. And
I think it would make. I mean, even if they started, getting ready for towers, even these having at tower events, having these side events for the people that are there just to spectate, I think it's going to build more into the game. Like, think about if we started having side events at Collecticons.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Even with, I mean, we had some of the space to do it depending on the venue. I know it's harder to do it inside Collecticon itself, but it'd be a lot of fun for people to be able to experience that, like inside Collecticon next to the booth.
If they could just buy a release deck, right away, they have a release deck, and they paid for the release deck. They're entered into a tournament, and they all play each other. I think it would do a lot for the game.
I think it would have been cool to win like a blown up version of some of the Seance tarot cards.
Oh, that would have been sick.
Oh yeah, like you see the foiling now, man. How sick would Death look foiled just as 11 by, or just not even 11, like 2 feet by like 1.5.
It would have been added to my wall of Reaper stuff. Can we talk about the artwork first and foremost? I love the artwork. I love the lightning. But what is your favorite? I'm already gonna be biased because Miss Lakshmi, you know which one she loves.
I've always liked Dark. The darks that they've set out have been fantastic since CN1, the foil box topper. It would basically look like a scene out of Mummy. I think it's fantastic, and I'd love to see more of those. But this one particularly, the fire looks so good. I like the little guy that's burning up. It's so awesome. And then you have water has like Nessie underneath it.
Yeah. I do like this hollow. I like the Cosmic Aura
That did come
hollow.
out very well hollow. I want to see
very
some of the
well.
other things. Yeah. Some of this stuff has too much hollow in my opinion. Like if you get the light one, I would love to see it just the fire
Candle.
shimmering. Yeah, absolutely. Like I think the lightning, it was too much hollow in that one.
Yeah.
Just from the pictures I've seen, that some of the pictures are usually off a little bit. Like they're dark. They don't take the camera doesn't take it really well. But I would love to see some of these terras even shining. Like all the artwork has been phenomenal. Like, the artists are just doing their thing.
Yeah, I love Lightning Storm. This Lightning Storm looks so good.
It does. I agree. I like the All Hallows Eve or October one and the Christmas Eve. They look great.
Yeah, I just that's what I want to talk about. I mean, I'm glad that Metazoo and R&D team are seeing that, people want to play Christmas stuff, right? Well, if you want to play Christmas stuff, let's add some stuff. So, having the Halloween, having the trick or treat, like having these cards, it's awesome. Now we can interact. I think we're going to see a lot of fun. I don't know so much maybe competitive side of that. It's possible, right? I think it's opening up different parameters of the game, and it's kind of expanding the walls, right? Where we've been like this, right? And we kind of take 2 steps. I think it's going to span it out a little bit more, where everyone's trying to cover a base of what the meta is. And I think it's going to open it up for opportunities from, side decks. Like I just think about decks that in Yu-Gi-Oh! We just like, wow, where did that come from, right? It's going to allow for those decks to come in, maybe not take first, but make top 8, right? Kind of shake things up a little bit, just like when the Fire Spirit we did.
Yeah, well, I think it's this is the first time that we're seeing cards actually trigger some things. So like the new 1 Fire 1 Spirit drop, he brings in Cole. Cole is an eyesight whenever he's on the field. So that's going to be an interesting card because that means you can play Coal Miner and you shouldn't have to declare coal.
Which one is it?
It's a fire card. It's Fire and Spirit. It's do they have everything on here? It might be further up with the rares, the gold rares on HQ. HQ is based on the number.
Yeah.
So it's not always If you keep going up, we'll talk about the card for a second because this is a very interesting card.
Fire Spirit.
Yep, that's him. Go to the furnace. Okay, so its arena effect is cold to be without eyesight. So that means Coal Miner is gonna be triggered. I want to know in any environment, this means that I don't have to declare coal because it's inside of a card effect. So this should be a way for us to expand the 4th wall characteristic and get past the limits. And there's several cards in here that are talking about things that you wear that shouldn't have to be on the 4th wall declaration either. So you're gonna be able to play a full complement of stuff that you wouldn't be able to play earlier. Like for physical walls, like you're gonna have to have plants and stuff and radioed whenever you go places. But if you can wear some of this stuff, like Lady of the Lake said, you have to wear a pink dress. So that shouldn't have to be a claimable item if it's an actual clothing item. Just like pants, you got to wear shorts. Frodo Nightcrawler, for those who didn't understand what I was saying there. But you have to wear shorts in order to cast that card. So, but the Lady of the Lake, if you're wearing a pink dress, she gains Spirit trait, which is a very strong trait, and that card definitely needs it to be more playable, in my opinion. But I think that they're taking in account of what they've created in the past, and they're making it more open. They're opening up the game more, and they're letting more of these cards be playable. Certain trait, I don't think they're gonna let happen. Like you went swimming today. I don't think that's a trait gonna happen because that monster was too good. If you've gone swimming, honestly, it just spams a paralyzed effect that you just keep bouncing back when you swing with it. It's very, very good card if you can just trigger it. 4th wall effect.
I remember when I saw this card, and I've seen a lot of other cards that are taking it's kind of like bits and pieces from other great cards like Gassy, right? I'm thinking about Gassy right now. Contract a spell from your cemetery, right? Like you just fireball all day, right? You just boom, fireball, right? I see potential in so many different cards. I always want to tell people sometimes too much can ruin a good thing. I think there's a lot of great cards in here, but you got to kind of pick and choose. You got to pick and choose what you put in because, I mean, look at this. you can't be walking around like I get it. All the dark cards, they're like 5 drops and stuff. But you got to understand to get to a 5 drop, normally at 6 to 7 drop, the game's over. Can we agree? Like as fast as the meta is, you kind of know who a winner is unless they want to play it all the way out.
It's difficult when you get into that 7 drop range to start dropping this stuff. That's why we haven't seen Grim Reaper come into play. That is a very specific card cost. It has to be hard aura. And when you're talking about 2 different hard aura types, the game is just going to get more difficult. That's an increase in variance. For those of us who follow knows exactly what we mean. So even playing stuff like Prism Aura isn't going to help as much unless you get it. And that's a 2 of out of a 40 card deck.
Exactly.
At the very best can be a 40 card deck. We're starting to see people play 42, 45. I've seen a 50 card deck. And those decks are cool until you run into a deck that is 40 cards and paces out better than you do because they're aura counter on point. So I just think it's going to be hard if you don't play artifacts to get some of this stuff off. And we've already seen people set up for anti-artifact situations because of Cosmic.
Yeah. Okay, maybe this card in the freaking release deck tournament was busted.
Yeah, if you get this card, basically you do the nuts. Because the only
if you can play it, how I got across it, I paralyzed it. Let's go.
Yeah, you gotta take away the trait.
Yeah.
Like you have to take away the trait. There's only 2 beasties I think that had that ability to take away traits in the set. I got one of them. It's a Dark Spirit, and I couldn't play it. Like I knew that this card was gonna be a problem. People were talking about this already with Sentry Devil. That's because with the if you had a Sentry box, everything was in 4th wall was an effect, so it gained plus 100 for its attack. And this is something that I know they've had to do in order to give things attack because of a card like Beast of Brusco that didn't have an attack on it. You can't put Power Up Red on that. So this card you can put Power Up Red on, and it gains attack because it has an attack already. It just doesn't do any damage, which we're starting to see more of things that reduce damage in order to have an effect.
This card's just it's broken. I mean, can we just be honest? It's doing 100, and if you are putting a Power Bread on it, it's doing 200. But only way in the tournament when I played against it to slow it down is I had to roll for Paralyze and hope that it went through. Just but
this card had like a huge drawback though. Like if you put Power Bread on this card, its arena effect's always going to be on, and eventually I'm just going to kill everything else except this card and make you kill this card.
Yeah.
Like this card is a very strong card, but it nerfed properly to where you're going to get this card off and out, and its effect can be on, but you're not going to be able to do too much with it if this arena effect goes through. So if you toxic watered it, and after you put some damage on it, it just dies. So this is where we're talking about like the difference between release event and constructed events. Card like this sounds really, really good. If the Sentry box is something, I looked up what a Sentry box was. I did not know what that was, and it's pretty much a guard shack with a door. I'm a big comic book guy. First thing I thought of Sentry box, I was like, isn't that something out of a comic, like a DC comic or something? And so I thought it was something different than that. No, it's literally a guard shack that someone can stand in and come out of and check your ID and stuff like that.
Oh man, there's a lot of, I would say, great cards, but some things I just want to get into. I love the artwork here. As you can tell, there's definitely a pattern here that it is all spirit when it comes to the artifacts that were released. This card's, it's good, but just like Chaos, Crystal, it's a low LP, so it's most likely not going to last. Let's talk about this, Herman. Let's talk about the variables of this card. Love the artwork, but I'm not a fan of the playability.
Same. I feel like they're scaling back special auras since they've dropped Prism Aura. So Prism Aura was going to be the best one they ever dropped. Neutrality. We've talked about that. That was a step behind. It's not going to give you the utility that you need all throughout the game. I mean, this is the internal conversation that we have with each other, guys, that when we're talking about cards, is we have to think of not just the broken plays, but the plays all throughout the game. So it sounds cool to play 2 bookmarks for 1 aura type, until you haven't drawn your other aura types. If I don't draw a lightning aura, I'm not going to be able to play my Quetzes, and Quetzes are hard for lightning. So the only thing I can bring out is Call the Storm in that situation, or a Cryptic Nation, the Wilderness promos, and those with the second anniversary, those can all be negated, and you'll be a step behind and even in a worse position than you were. So when it comes to this card, I think this one's worse than neutrality. You can't just play this card and then it'll generate an aura. There has to be another aura in play in order for it to generate something. So that means
turn one's just dropping this. You're just sitting there like, can't do anything with it.
Yeah, you can't even play bookmark or anything. This is way too reliant to me on playing your opponent. And if I actually open with this card, I'm pretty sure I have to mulligan. Even if I hit my requirement with 2 or 3 aura in my hand, I probably will have to mulligan with this card. And it doesn't really help what we need with the game being, we need another Prism Aura basically, or dual aura that would do 1 or 2.
That would be great.
I don't think they're ever going to do that. I don't see a reason actually in the game for them to do that with the artifacts, and because of how much more consistent the game would become after that, I'd rather keep the same amount of variance and play with what we have now. If we're playing dual auras, there's almost going to be 0 issues when it comes to your aura counts. You can go smaller and your deck can be way more consistent than something that runs like 4, 5, 6 drops.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I'm kind of devil's advocate on that. I think it'd be great for the game. I'm starting to see them drop, 2 type of aura types for these beasties. What if they do start, as sets come out, dropping a dual aura where like you can fatigue it for a fire or water aura? You know what I mean? It can only be 1 aura. You pick either aura. I
just think that some of their decks are, some of the aura combinations are way too strong together. Some of them are just going to be insane together. Dark and Spirit as an aura would be insane together.
True.
Like they're just combinations that are going to be really, really strong. Certain aura type with like Cosmic, for example. If I can drop certain Cosmic cards in it, that means you can play Ray Gun and anything. You really want to see Ray Gun in like a Frost deck? Something with Burrow? It's already hard enough to deal with Burrow beasties. Now you got to deal with taking a gun.
I wouldn't be surprised or put it past them. Guys, I want to talk about the busted of busted cards. This pretty much took me into top and almost winning the tournament. I pretty much, variance happens in top, second place or final, excuse me. I've had to go back through. It was a long night. We played till 1:30 in the morning. It was long. It's a necklace, and pretty much it allows you to copy the basic attack.
It's called Fetish Necklace.
Yes,
it's called
here
Fetish
it is.
Necklace. It's a spirit card. It's a 10 LP, 1 spirit drop. Yep. You can target a beastie in the arena, pay its cost with any aura type, which is important because there are differences in certain cards that say this. So this clarification made this card super playable in this release event deck because it means that he could copy anything with the aura that they had. But the other thing is it turned itself into a beastie and awakened it. So what happens is when you have multiples, and Logan was exploiting this, when you have multiples of these, you get to use the fetish artifact, target a something, and then you would use the other one to copy this for 1.
For 1.
Yeah, so it
people were like, people.
It just it's a beat stick, and that's just a beastie with nothing but hitting power, and that's what you need. You need just hitting power when it comes to release event because you got to have the strength. And he's swinging up for like 200.
I was doing 250. I was doing 250 a turn, and people were looking at me like, "What?"
And he started copying his own beasties.
Yeah, when I started copying my own beasties, it was over. Literally, I would play one of my beasties that did 50, and I literally had a base attack of 50, and I was just literally going. I'd get 3 of them out, and I was sitting here for 200. When I got the 4th one out, it was over. There's nothing you could do. They were trying to kill that beastie, and I was just putting traps underneath it and just couldn't do anything. And what's beautiful about it is, what are you going to do? It's a spirit. It's a spirit artifact.
So this is where we're talking. It's another card like that was so good in the release event that gonna be okay in competitive play. Side decks matter. Side deck matters so much. Even that card we were talking about earlier with the that furnace guy, the ghost of furnace,
Yes.
with its effect to contract the fireball basically. If you and because it has 30 LP, I've been thinking about stuff like this. So when you come with a smaller LP like that, you have to start thinking of things people are going to do against it. So I'm thinking, just me looking at it, I will probably start citing a water gun if I'm playing water. That wasn't really good against the current fire meta because their LP was 35 for the green guys, for those green meteors. But with 30, that water gets plus 20. I'll be bookmarking a card for 1. We were talking about the dark deck. When we get to that, she's right there, the Chibi Salem Witch.
Hey, this card
That's
is
a 5
busted.
LP draw. No, it is not. This card is not busted.
Hold on. In the release event, it was busted. Okay, let me finish the sentence. It was a great card.
It's not busted in the release event either. We were seeing mistakes with this card, by the way. I had to make sure, and I never got to read this card because I didn't pull it. It says very specifically you can search a spellbook for a Salem Witches and add it to your chapter. That does not include Chibi Salem Witches.
Oh wow, everyone was cheating.
Exactly. So this is the conversation I had with the Discord because I was double checking. It's the same. The only reason that I recognize this is because there's another card that was in the set that people were reading wrong was the Sam's artifact that would search for a spell or artifact with Sam's in its name. That is a very important distinction. It did not have this. They don't have the same wording.
I had those in my original deck. I read that and I was like, I threw that out as soon as possible. I read it real fast. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I saw people trying to pull another another beastie that was a witch. So this is not a true like searcher like lizard people.
Yeah,
it's a great card. Don't get me wrong, but they're gonna be ways to get rid of these cards. The R&D is very good at how they set up some of this stuff. But you gotta talk about death when you talk about busted cards in this thing.
Yeah, we roughly got about 6 minutes left. I want to spend that time talking about these 2 cards here. Let's go death, and we'll finish out with. I mean, everyone knows about Hollow's Eve, but it was so busted due to the fact that we were playing in October and at the release event, so it was winning games. But let's talk about death. If you reveal a death tour, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. The most important effect is the first one. You play whenever your beastie is contracted. Do not resolve any effects of that beastie being contracted and place it in limbo. This card is effectively a solemn judgment. For Yu-Gi-Oh people. This card is the first card that you'll be able to use against a beastie, regardless if it's effect going off. If they play a beastie, you get to negate it and send it to limbo. This is not just forgetting about the other effect, which in itself is a form of recursion. That's basically Monster Reborn for like 2 level with 2 costs or lower, right? Yeah. So you just place one in of any of those, of the dark, lighter spirit. So it's going to be a lot of combos that you play off with that you're not going to want to see going around. This basically gives it the first real control deck with spells. If you can splash it with you're going to see the splash with water. Because there's already a water artifact that darken water. It has a 1 neutral, 2 dark cost. It's not going to be very difficult to pull off. That means the only card that you really can't play is Mania or Mania, whatever anybody wants to call it. And there's also that new 2/2 tower, water tower card.
I wish this was hollow. I wish they would have made these cards hollow like this. The ones like.
I am sad about that. I would have loved to see this hollow in a reverse or full hollow fashion. You got to get the crown. The fact that I'm glad the artifact has had the crown in it. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does. It's gonna be awesome. Guys, with that, I mean, most other cards they have their playability. I won't get into too much more. I'll let everyone kind of explore. Maybe me and Hermie will do a part 2 to this because there is some cards in here I think that can disrupt them. But But I'd love to hear what you guys think. You know, with me and Herman kind of signing off. If there's cards that you guys like, that y'all have seen, you know, please share below, comment on Instagram posts when I post a live for Friday. And guys, give us y'all's feedback. We always appreciate the feedback. Anything that you guys want to hear about, learn about, or want us to review, please comment below and we will gladly do that on future videos. Herman, do you have anything to say?
No, I want to thank everybody for checking it out. And like Logan said, please get at us with what you want to see. We're probably going to do a competitive version of this since we did really focus on the release event stuff on that. So I think like 5 or 10 cards we can go through. In most sets, those are what you're really looking for. But again, thank y'all. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. We love engaging with y'all. Appreciate you, Logan.
All right, brother. Take care. Y'all stay tuned for the next one.